Hello dear students, I am Professor Priya Kulkarni from Parvatibai Genba, Mose College of Engineering, Wagholi, Pune. Here we are going to discuss about the sinking of the support or settlement of the support. Okay, we'll see what will be the changes that we have to do in the moment distribution method or in the calculations of fixed end moments because of the sinking of the support. So we'll start with the numerical. A continuous beam ABC fixed at the ends and loaded as shown below is support B and C sinks by 2 mm and 7 mm respectively. Okay, they have given that there is a sinking for the supports B and C. Support B sinks by 2 mm and support C sinks by 7 mm. The reactions and support movements. Find reactions and support movement. Also draw shear force and bending moment diagram. Take E is equals to 200 Newton per mm square and I moment of inertia is equals to 3.5 into 10 raised to 7 mm raised to 4. Use moment distribution method. This is the given numerical and this is the problem statement. Okay. Then first of all we'll discuss about the settlement or sinking of the support. So because of overload or because of the poor quality of materials, the supports, that is columns, okay, those get sink with the some minor amount of settlement. Okay, that we have seen also this part in our geotechnical engineering. Okay, so mm, this is the given beam span AB and it gets settled. Okay, this is the settlement. Okay, this settlement is 2 mm for B support and for C support this is the settlement of 7 mm. Okay, so supports are getting settled or supports are getting sunk. So because to avoid this settlement or to keep our beam in stable condition, the internal movements has to be developed. Okay, now look at the signs or look at the rotation nature of the. Okay, now to this support B settles downward and to avoid that particular settlement the beam has to create an internal movement. Okay, and this movement, the direction of this movement is in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, it is in anti-clockwise direction. That's why we have taken uh, for AB span we have taken, sorry, for settlement of B or settlement at the support B we have taken positive. Just remember now here. And at the C, to avoid this settlement, support C has to create this type. What is this? This is sorry, it's very getting jumbled. You okay? Now this this settlement is in clockwise direction and this settlement is in anti-clockwise direction, right? In this manner the clock rotates. Okay, 12. Okay, so the sign convention we have to consider, we are going to consider clockwise we are taking negative and anti-clockwise we are taking positive. So accordingly we'll keep the sign for this settlement movement. Okay, now we'll start with the solution part. E, that is modulus of elasticity, is given as 200 Newton per mm square and I moment of inertia is given as 3.5 into 10 raised to 4 mm raised to 4. Delta B and delta C we have converted in meter. Then we require EI value for the settlement or C. That's why we are going to multiply E with I and we'll get that value in 7000 1000 kilonewton per meter square. We are going to convert the units into kilonewton and meter, and then we'll get the value of EI. So this is the unit kilonewton meter square. Meter raised to 4 and meter square, it will get meter square. Then step 1 is finding fixed end moments. This span AB is loaded with a UDL, so we know the fixed end moment formula, WL square by 12 for AB span, and this 6 EI upon L square into delta B is the settlement moment. Okay, this is the only difference that we are going to do for the sinking of the support. Okay, this is the only change that we are supposed to do for the fixed end moment calculation. Okay, this is the fixed end, these are the fixed ends, and this support B settles. That's why we have to create an equivalent amount of movement over here. Okay, so this movement we have to, or that particular beam has to create equivalent opposite amount of movement. That's why we are, and we know how this formula has come, 6 EI delta upon L square. Okay, we have seen that in the first unit. Or if you doesn't know, just remember, wherever there is a sinking or settlement or sagging, then the particular beam is create a movement that with the amount of 6 EI delta upon L square. Okay, this is the standard value. Okay, just remember this. Okay, and this movement is in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, this is the fixed end movements. Okay, this sign convention of fixed end. Okay, and because of this because of this settlement, the particular beam AB has to create a clockwise movement. Okay, and to avoid that clockwise movement, the beam has to create an anti-clockwise movement. Okay, because of this clockwise movement, this settlement is happening. So to resist this settlement, the particular beam has to create a anti-clockwise movement, and anti-clockwise movement we are considering as positive, and the formula or the quantification of that anti-clockwise movement is 6 EI upon L square into delta B. Okay, is it clear to you? Just remember Newton's third law. Okay, for every action there is equal and opposite reaction. That's why the member or the beam has to develop an equal and opposite amount of movement to resist the settlement, or to become or to be the stable form. Okay, then we'll get this fixed end movement. Okay, because of external load and because of the sinking. Then similarly for FEM-BA, we know the sign conventions for this. Okay, and we will consider the sinking value for AB's part as anti-clockwise, and that's why we have taken it as positive. Then for the BC span, moving towards the BC span. Okay, now here there are two settlements for B and for C part. Okay, B part settlement we have considered as anti-clockwise. Okay, that's why we have taken as positive. Now just concentrate on the settlement at the C support. Okay, now because of this sinking movement, this support will settle. This sinking movement is in, sorry, like this will get settled. Okay, this movement is in anti-clockwise direction. So to avoid this anti-clockwise movement, this support C has to develop a clockwise movement. okay, clockwise movement. Okay, the sinking movement is clockwise. Okay, resisting movement is clockwise. Okay, we are going to consider the resisting movements, and we are going to consider the sign conventions for resisting movement. Okay, that's why uh, that sinking at the support C is considered as a positive, and moving from C point to B point, it will create a negative movement, clockwise negative. Okay, clockwise we are considering negative. So this is the difference for B and C part. Okay, and FEMC in the span C to D, we have only one settlement at the support C, and that will consider as negative. Okay, I know there is a lot of jumbling that will come in your mind, but just remember, because of this sinking, the beam has to create equal and opposite amount of movement, and we will consider the sign of resisting movement, and accordingly will put the sinking movement sign. The quantification will be same 6 delta upon L square, but just remember, or just be careful with the sign convention. Okay, you have to solve this in your own way, and then you will come to know what I am telling you. Okay, now next step is distribution factor. We know distribution factor is the ratio of member stiffness to the joint stiffness. Okay, now we'll make one simple table. Joint member, K is the relative stiffness, summation of K is summation of relative stiffness at the particular joint, and distribution factor. Okay, now in this case all the ends, okay, moving from A point to B point, far end, that is B, moving from A to B, far end B is intermediate, that's why we'll take the relative stiffness as I by L. Okay, similarly moving from B to C, C point is also intermediate, that's why I by L. And moving from D to C, moving from D to C, C is also intermediate, that's why I by L. And the end supports are fixed, that's why its relative stiffness is I by L. Just remember two cases when the far end is fixed or intermediate or continuous, then we'll take the relative stiffness as I by L. I is moment of inertia, L is length of that particular span of beam. Okay, in that case I by L. If the far end is simply supported, roller supported, hinge supported, or overhang, in that particular cases we'll take the relative stiffness as 3/4 of I by L. Okay, this is the difference, and just remember this difference. Okay, then accordingly we have calculated member stiffness I by L. We have same moment of inertia throughout the beam. Okay, just be careful with the moment of inertia. One span is given with a I, another span is given with a 2I. Okay, but in our numerical we have same or identical I moment of inertia for the all the spans. Just be careful with the L length of the particular span. Okay, and just find the summation of K for B joint and for C joint. Okay, now what is the distribution factor? Distribution factor is the ratio of, now consider for this BA. Okay, 0.33I divided by 0.83I will get the 0.4 value. Then 0.5I divided by 0.83I will get 0.6 value. Similarly for C joint, we'll add up this 0.5 and 0.33, we'll get 0.83I. Then distribution factor is the ratio of member stiffness, that is 0.5I to the joint stiffness, that is 0.83I, will get 0.6. and 0.33i divided by 0.83i will get 0.4i. Okay, is it clear to you? This is the distribution factor. Then moment distribution, the main part, and this is highlighting part of our moment distribution method, and it is very easy, interesting, and it is not that much tedious. Okay, uh, then we'll draw one table with the joints A, B, C, D, member A, B. Okay, but we'll mark particular members below that joint. Okay, joint B has two members meeting BA and BC. Joint C has two members meeting CB and CD. Okay, then again we'll write the distribution factor below the particular members. Okay, then we mark up the fixed end movements that we have calculated in step 1. Okay, fixed end movements with the proper sign conventions. Okay, then we start with the moment distribution. We are going to distribute the movements, but just remember one thing, that if far end is fixed or far end is intermediate or continuous, then we are going to carry over half the movement over there. Okay, we will carry over half the movement over there. Will distribute half the movement, and if the far end is simply supported, roller supported or hinge supported, then we will not carry over the movement. Okay, there we can't carry over. We can carry over the movement only if the far end is fixed or far end is intermediate or continuous. Okay, just remember this thing while doing the movement distribution. The first step we are going to do is we'll find the difference of the movement. Okay, just and why we are going to do this table, or why we are going to distribute the movements, but because we have to keep these particular joints in the equilibrium. Now member BA has minus 20.67 movement and member BC has 77.5 kilonewton meter movement. So is it worth? Okay, is it balancing the particular joint? No, one member is weak and another member is strong. Okay, movement wise, that's why we have to keep the particular joints in equilibrium. Okay, in stable condition. That's why we are going to do all this movement distribution part. Okay, this is the main motto of our movement distribution, to keep the joints in equilibrium. Okay, then we'll find the difference of the movement or unbalanced movement. Okay, now we'll do the subtraction, algebraic subtraction. I'm saying 77.5 minus 0.67 will get plus 56.83, and for C joint 27.5 this is minus 4.83 will get we'll add up 27.5 plus 4.83 will get 32.33 value. Okay, this is unbalanced movement. So we are going to apply equal and opposite amount of movement to this unbalanced movement, so that the beam will be in a stable form. Okay, this is common sense. This is by Newton's third law, equal and opposite. Just remember this thing. Then 56.83 is positive unbalanced movement, so we have to apply negative 56.83 movement towards the joint. Similarly, negative 32.33 movement towards the C joint. Now what is the distribution? Okay, we cannot distribute half movement, because the stiffness or relative stiffness, and according to that we have calculated distribution factor. Okay, so we'll distribute 0.4 movement from 56.83 to the BA part, and 0.6% to the BC's part. Similarly for C joint. Okay, now minus 56.83 into 0.4 will get minus 22.73, and minus 56.83 into 0.6 will get 34.1. Is it clear? Okay, equal and opposite, that's it. Similarly 32.33 minus 32.33 into 0.6 will get minus 19.4, and minus 32.33 will get into 0.4 will get minus 12.93. Now important step is carry over. We are going to distribute the moment to all the joints. Just remember whatever is the amount of unbalanced movement that we are going to transfer to the particular members. Okay, joint span AB has two members, AB and BA. Okay, so that we are going to apply that unbalanced movement to AB and BA. Then whatever is the unbalanced movement that will be in the part that will be in the span BC will carry over to BC and CB. Okay, similarly whatever is the amount of unbalanced movement in span CD will carry over to CD and DC. Okay, we are we are doing the carryover part to all the members, okay, in that particular joint. But remember that far end is fixed, and over far end is fixed and intermediate and continuous, then only we can carry over half the movement. Otherwise for simply supported roller and hinge we are not able to carry over the movement. We will not carry over that part. Okay, so we will carry over minus 22.73 half the value. Okay, minus 11.36. Then similarly here also 34.1 minus 34.1 half 17.5, and similarly half the movement. Okay, over here, because these ends are fixed. Okay, N A and N D are fixed, that's why we are going to carry over. And the intermediate ends are B and C, that's why we are going to carry over here also. Okay, just be clear with all the things that we are going to do with the movement distribution. Okay, it is very easy, just you have to remember two things. Okay, that far end condition and carryover factor, and whatever is the unbalanced movement, we are going to apply equal and opposite amount of movement over that particular joint. Similarly we are going to do this carryover part until we get the equal and opposite amount of movement at that particular joints. Okay, so we are going to do iterations up to what extent? Up to we get the equal and opposite amount of movements. Okay, so this is the carryover part that we have done. If you have any doubts regarding this movement distribution table, just feel free to ask me, just call me. Okay, then the final outcome, and here we get the values plus 0.5 here and there, so we are going to calculate the approximate movement over here. Okay, we'll round up with the particular value and we'll end up our movement distribution part. Then the final output is shear force and bending moment diagram. We'll draw shear force we'll draw bending moment diagram by principle of superposition. We'll draw bending moment diagram first because of these external loads. Okay, for UDL condition it is WL square by 8, and for point load it is WL by 4, and for UDL it is parabolic, and for point load it is triangular. Okay, so this is the bending moment diagram because of external loads, and whatever is the bending moment diagram that we have marked up with the inclined line is because of the end movements that we have calculated over here. Okay, we are going to mark up according to their sign conventions. Okay, so this is the bending moment diagram by superposition. Then we'll draw the shear force diagram, but before drawing shear force diagram, we have to find out the support reactions. We'll find the support reactions by because of this external loads and because of the end moments that we have calculated in the moment distribution part. Okay, and we'll draw the shear force diagram. This is very easy, just you have to practice very well. Okay, and this is must. Shear force diagram is must in every moment distribution method you numerical. Okay, they will compulsorily ask you to draw the bending moment diagram. They will rarely ask you about the shear force diagram, but just be clear with both the diagrams. Okay, in some cases they have asked the elastic curve also. Okay, in what way that particular beam will deflect, and accordingly we'll draw the elastic curve diagram. But you need so much of practice to draw the bending moment shear force diagram very quickly and in very appropriate manner. So practice is the key. Okay, so this ends with the sinking of the support part. Okay, because of this sinking, there is only one difference in calculation of fixed end moments. Okay, other things remaining the same. Okay, if you have any doubts regarding this numerical, then you are just feel free to ask. I have uploaded this video previously also, but it has no voice. That's why I am uploading the video again. Okay, thank you, and mark your attendance in the comment box.